We haven't spoken about Donkey Kong for quite a while. Sure, he and Donkey Kong Jr. have appeared in a few games like NES Open Tournament Golf and Super Mario Kart, but they haven't really been a focus since Super Mario Bros. Revitalized the franchise back in 1985. After befriending Mario, the two of them returned to their home on Donkey Kong Isle and just continued their lives. And so too did the series of games based around the Kongs cease to exist for many years. The pair made a few cameo appearances, but generally they fell off to the sidelines. Flash forward to the year 1994, and Donkey Kong as a brand is reborn. Time has passed since their last appearance, and a world has unfolded around the Kong clan, introducing a vastly different corner of the Mushroom World for us to explore. This is part of more or less a reboot for the entire series, releasing shortly after a new version of the original arcade game on the Game Boy, and alongside a series of books, and even a heavily memed 3D animated TV show. The Donkey Kong we once knew has now aged dramatically, shrinking down to a cranky old man. DK Jr. went on to have a son of his own before disappearing for some unknown reason, leaving this child, Donkey Kong III, in the care of his own father, now known as Cranky Kong. Their home was given a new name, Donkey Kong Isle. They were given family and friends who we'll introduce later, and most importantly they were given enemies. The Kremlings. The Kremling crew is a group of intelligent crocodiles and their non-crocodilian allies that oppose the Kong, led by a cruel king subtly named K. Rool. The Kremlings hail from the nearby Crocodile Isle, but come to harass the Kongs in their home turf all the same. They're depicted as pirates aboard their ship, the Gangplank Galleon. Despite being a king, K. Rool is also the ship's captain. And as pirates are known to do, the Kremlings are motivated by stealing the Kong family riches. A golden banana hoard, rich in potassium and vitamin A. Truly the perfect food. As the older Kong aged and became worse for wear, the role of protector to the island fell to the newest Kong to wear the moniker of Donkey and the infamous necktie. Despite being a certified hero, this Kong also has his own flaws. He has a big attitude and could often be considered lazy, much to his grandfather's chagrin. That said, he's still more than an adept fighter, and does his job with pride. That said, the Kong clan is much larger than simply this family group. We also have Funky Kong, a skilled mechanic and pilot with an easygoing attitude. He's a close friend of DK's. He's also Donkey's girlfriend Candy Kong, an avid dancer who hosts mini-games for the Kongs to play. Finally, we have Donkey's friend and protege, Diddy Kong, a young monkey. And it is with Diddy that this game's story begins. One night, as part of Diddy's hero training, as DK puts it, the younger monkey is put in charge of guarding the banana hoard, but just until midnight when DK will take over his regular guard duties. However, DK, being DK, ended up oversleeping, leaving Diddy to watch the hoard all night, and get ambushed by the Kremlings. In the morning, DK wakes up to find both his banana hoard and his little buddy gone, and Cranky chiding him about his laziness. Quickly finding Diddy stuffed into a barrel, the two apes know they need to fight and get their hoard back. Overnight, the Kremlings have invaded the entire island aboard their ship. Diddy wasn't the only animal they'd kidnapped. The Kremlings also imprisoned the Kong's friends, Rambi the Rhino, On Guard the Swordfish, Expresso the Ostrich, and Winky the Frog. As the two Kongs crossed the island, they removed the Kremling presence wherever they went, starting with Very Naughty the Beaver in Congo Jungle, Master Neki in the Monkey Mines, Queen Bee in Vine Valley, Really Naughty in Gorilla Glacier, Dum Drum in Crumb Rock Industries, and Master Neki Sr. in Chimp Caverns, with each boss defeated, collecting one of the big bananas missing from their hoard. Finally, with the opposing forces cleared off the island, they are able to approach the Gangplank Galleon and fight the Kremling commander. But even he too falls before the might of the Kongs, and the final bananas are claimed. The Kremlings leave Donkey Kong Isle in defeat, after threatening to blow up the island and then throwing the Kongs off the boat. Good thing they know how to swim. The line about blowing up the island turns out to not be a bluff, as we will see in later games. Though the story is done, there's still a few things worth discussing here. First of all, I couldn't find a lot of room in the intro to talk about the game itself, which was originally released on the Super Nintendo. It was remade on the Game Boy Color, and then again on the Game Boy Advance, which is what I played for this video. Though the best version is probably still the SNES original. If you want to play that, it's available on the Switch's SNES Online service. Now for the actual lore. The Kremlings, as I mentioned earlier, come from the Crocodile Isle, another island neighboring the Donkey Kong Isle. That said, this is hardly their first time on the island. The ancient ruins seen throughout the game seem to have been built by the Kremlings, and feature their visages all around. Their history on the island is also a lot more recent, including a large factory known as Kremrock Industries, which still seems to be in the fires of production, and recently built to boot. It seems like this rivalry between the Kongs and the Kremlings had been going on for a long time, possibly even predating Cranky's rivalry with Mario. We'll need to discuss the history of the Kremlings, as well as K. Rool himself, a lot more as we get further into the Donkey Kong Country franchise. Also, we have to talk about what's probably the most noteworthy thing in my eyes. Cranky knows he's in a video game. And I don't just mean he gives us a tutorial, tells us the controls, all of that. No, I mean he constantly talks about how good gamers and game characters have it these days compared to the arcade era. He talks about frames of animation, how many features are in the game, and he actually tries to hide that fact in the manual, clearly jealous of the game his grandson gets to star in. And DK seems to know this as well, since he references himself as a video game hero. This implies a lot about the world, and also hints towards the existence of video games about these various characters existing in-universe, which we'll see more of later. Now let's talk about the timeline. This is a hard one to place since it doesn't tie into a lot that we've covered previously. It has to go after Super Mario Kart, since DK Jr. was last seen there, but that's really it so far as timeline clues from games we've already covered. So I've had to look ahead at other games we have yet to cover just to get a more solid place. And for now, I think I'll put this game right at the end of our current timeline. Since Donkey Kong III is already a video game star, this can't be his first appearance. So I'm putting it after his first encounter with Mario, in Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which itself has a lot of comparisons to Super Mario USA, placing those games in close proximity. I'll cover those connections more when we discuss the first Mario vs. Donkey Kong, but for now, this is where I'll leave our timeline. Thanks for watching, and I'll see all of you next time.